Welcome to the FNRad Snowboarding Podcast. I'm Eric Charlson, and this is episode 13, our very first live episode. Recorded at Chair 9 Pub in Glacier, Washington, in front of a live audience, this event was sponsored by Sessions Beer by Full Sail Brewery out of Hood River, Oregon.
Yeah, I didn't start even riding till I was 65 years old.
The first board I rode was this plastic Sims Lonnie Tops with a skate deck.
Snowboarding is exactly the same as it used to be. It's just, everybody wants something from it.
I don't know if I can endure any more shitty winters.
We're going to be okay, and that's all that matters.
You can put it away for a while, but you can't put it away forever because it's just almost like a spiritual thing.
Terje Hakonsen is a snowboarding icon. For almost 3 decades, he's dominated whatever part of professional snowboarding he was focused on. Blessed with seemingly unlimited natural talent and edge control, Terje was taken under the wing of snowboarding legend Craig Kelly when he was just 15 years old. We were honored to meet him in the parking lot at Mount Baker a few hours before the podcast taping to iron out the details of when we would record. My buddy Gentle Brad, who's one of Terje's biggest fans, chatted away with him casually about Hawaii, surfing, and among other things, yoga. It was one of my favorite moments to witness of all times. Jake Blovelt, who was hanging out with Terje while he was in Washington, agreed to get him to the Chair 9 Pub for 3 p.m., which he totally did. Here's the recording of our interview, pretty much in full. All right, everybody. My name's Eric Charlson. This is the FNRad Snowboarding Podcast. And we've been doing it all season. And we've interviewed a lot of cool guys. One of them sitting at the bar right now, Jeff Fulton, your hometown guy. And we're here with, how do I introduce you other than saying, the best snowboarder in the world, Terje Hakonsen. Thank you for being my guest, buddy.
I don't know, he's an asshole. I don't know.
We almost always start with the first question is, what was your first board? When did you start?
Yeah, my neighbor had a board. It was a Burton Elite 150. Had a little fin on it with swallowtail. I think it had, it's not going to say the Velcro straps, but it had like plastic click-in straps. And it worked in powder, but it didn't really work on the hard pack.
Sick. And then what was your first board that was like your own, that you bought?
Well, I bought the same board, but not from my neighbor, from this other girl down the street.
Sick.
Yeah.
Were you basically on Burton when you were like a little kid? Was there ever like Terje on Nidecker snowboard or like some crazy banana or something like that?
It's funny because, it was so small back then and there was different importers. So you go to one city and everybody be on Sims. You go to the next one and be on GNU. And keep going. And like a lot of people thought like, when we were making a half pipe, they were like, what are those guys doing now? They're making like this Burton ramp, and so it's like, but we traveled around Norway, so we get to try everything. We had like Easter demos and stuff like that so I was on a pocket knife, and that was probably a game changer for me at that time.
Sick, dude. So how did you get hooked up with Burton in the first place? So like you traveled and competed within like a smaller Norwegian circuit kind of thing?
Yeah, for how small it was actually a Norwegian circuit. And I rode the junior class, under 18. Yeah, it was happening really fast. But I grew up in a town where Ashild and Einar Loftus was. And they did World Cups in 88. They were on, Ashild was on the Burton World team for many years. And so I was pretty lucky that I saw that from the beginning, So everything went pretty fast from getting sponsored by Burton.
That was the next thing I was going to ask you about your hometown. Is it true it's like 100 people? Is that right?
No, that's not right.
Okay.
But it's
misinformation.
Not that many more, though. Maybe like 1,200.
1,200 people. So what's it like, at 18, 19 years old, going out into the world as an internationally renowned snowboarder from growing up in a town of 1,200 people?
Well, we have bus and trains in Norway too, so I was actually outside the city. I have an aunt that lives in Oslo.
Was there somebody at your home at your home hill that gave up on snowboarding because he was like second best? This guy's so much better than me. I just quit, but he was actually like quite good. But there's not that many people. So.
Well, I don't think anybody thought like that though, but I can probably like claim that for myself though in skiing. It's like I had a friend that always beat me, so maybe that's why I started snowboarding.
Let's move into your decision to boycott the Olympics in '98. Was that an easy decision for you to make, or was it something that you thought about and kind of flip-flop back and forth? You thought like, oh, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't, or was it just like, I'm not fucking going as long as it's FIS?
Yeah, to that point, yeah, it's really easy. I just had to get the blessing from Jake, and then it was really easy.
Yeah.
My dad got really pissed off, you know. He looks at the Olympics a different way I do, and but I think he's the only pissed guy, really.
Right, so had the FIS not gotten the judging for the Olympics, would you have gone?
The thing though is, like, in the beginning it was more like giving it to a ski federation, but after I learned more about IOC, it's like, actually it's a lot more important things than snowboarding.
Right.
So, like, everybody who actually support IOC, you know, you're actually supporting nature's disaster and human killings, you know, just to get your face in the zero box. So it's like, you know, people forget and ignore all the facts.
Right. I didn't know before I heard you talk about it what your position was on it, and I kind of just thought, oh, he doesn't want to go because he hates skiers. But then when I heard you articulate it, I was like, oh my God, like the Olympics actually, it definitely hurt the soul of snowboarding.
Yeah, also that too. It's like the same thing. If I supported it, it actually, for them, it was like stealing candy from kids, you know, taking over a sport with all their media powers, you know, and everybody's like, they forget about all the facts. Really, they're just so, they really want their face on that cereal box, and they do anything to get there. You know, I'm ashamed of a lot of my snowboard peers that brags about their Olympian. There's like a guy who really raped snowboarding, but at the same time raped towns and killed a lot of people, and support that shit.
I figured that was probably the way you were thinking, because you've actually spoken out in Norway against the bid for Oslo to get the Olympics.
Yeah, and actually 80% voted against having.
Sweet.
So yeah, so they understand, you know, they read more, and I think, you know, there's like, I don't know if it's 5 or 8 books that is written by IOC, you know, but one is actually from a teacher in Vancouver, and everybody think it's like communist countries that have all the problems, but it's the same in like in Canada, in the US, in Baker.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about Mount Baker, right? You've won the bank slalom 7 times. That's fucking pretty impressive. You guys could cheer like crazy for that. Is it something you train for? Is it something you have a strategy for? Or is it just something that you're just so good at it, you just win when you come?
Well, I definitely have a talent for, like, some people likes to go fast. And, you know, it's not easy, though. You know, it's like, I've been there a lot of times, and it's, you got to have almost a perfect run to win, you know. A lot of good guys. But it's a really fun thing to do, and a lot of people come here also just to ride that mountain here, because when there's powder here, it's probably one of the best places around. We're not going to tell anybody, but we do.
So let's go back to talking a little bit about Norway, because you're obviously a very proud Norwegian. I know only a little bit about it. One of the cool things I know about it is the slow TV movement that's going on there. Do you know about that?
No.
Slow TV? Okay, we don't have to talk about it then. They put like 8-hour programs on, like somebody knitting a sweater, like from start to finish, like 8 hours, and it's like the most watched program. And like the train ride up, or like the ferry ride up the fjords, like in real time, and people like have signs and stuff. It's like a real national thing. You need to go and Google it. It's actually really fucking cool.
On TV? Well, I have to start watching TV then.
Yeah, nobody's watching TV. It's just old. All right, so you talked about getting Jake's blessing to not go to the Olympics. How hard was that conversation? Was there a part where he's like, Terje, you're fucking winning everything. You got to go to the Olympics, or I got to start thinking about getting a different dude?
Well, we're back to the Olympics again, yeah.
Well, no, just it was such a big thing for the people that were into it at the time that you weren't going. For those of you that don't know, he would have won the Olympics if he went. He would have won. Everybody agreed. And he was like, you know what? I don't fucking like what they stand for, so I'm not going to go. And I invite other people to stand up with me and not go.
Be the boss, guy.
Did other people other high-level competitors not go? Like, were you successful in rallying some people?
Not that year, but there's been a few who had those decisions. And the thing is, like, in general, it's really bad for the sport when Torstein Horgmo goes to Slovakia and ride the worst slopestyle course ever to qualify for the Olympics. That's processed on the TV, so it's everybody shoots himself in the foot, really.
Yeah.
And, like, look at the halfpipe. It's been the same golden run for format for so many years.
Right.
And we're missing out. And, like, if I had a kid and you're just seeing triple corks all the way down, I don't want my kid to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. All right, so moving from that to your contest series that you basically put together, right? What was the first incarnation of it? What was the first name of it? World Freeride Tour? Am I way off on that?
Yeah, you're way off. It's a lot of us, like, contest is just one part of snowboarding, and it's a small part, but it's a lot of politics, obviously. But it's like, I started our own contest in 2000 called the Arctic Challenge, and then together with a lot of different other events, we created a tour, the World Snowboard Tour, and they're still going. I was more active like 5 years ago, but people wanted to go different directions, and then I was calling bullshit, but nobody wanted to listen.
Unreal. Okay, so now there's a lot of things there's two main foundations that you're involved with. Tell me about your philanthropy, because that's a big part of your life right now, right?
No, that's just whatever I learned from other people on the road, and then products I like, Not everything I post I'm like sponsored by, or, it's not like, not everything is paid for. But, and then I'm just ambassador for like the recycling programs and stuff like that.
In Norway or worldwide?
In Norway, but like my post goes, sometimes it hits bakers too.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, no, that's what makes you more than just a champion, is that you take a look at your lifestyle, take a look at people. You're not afraid to call bullshit.
Yeah, and like the trash system them have in Glacier and Baker it's a shame. They really got to upgrade their recycling program.
Really? Yeah, I mean, it's not...
Don't you love your nieces or your kids?
Oh my God, are you kidding? Of course. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that kind of goes under the radar in Canada. We're kind of the same as here. Like, it's a very rough system, and a lot of people's attitude is, you look and you go, oh shit, what garbage can do I put this in? And you half-ass it and throw it in whatever's got the most trash, honestly. Whereas in Europe, I know it's like the percentage of waste that goes to a landfill it's like only a couple of percent. So yeah, I guess coming over here seeing this, kind of a bummer. Because this affects you guys.
We got it too, man. It's not everywhere. It's cool. But like my other friend, though, looked at it a different way. We both have kids, and he said, we're going to see a lot of, like, bad shit the next 30, 40 years old. And he just said, like, yeah, we're really lucky.
We're going to see some ingenuity, because even at Baker, those recycling bins that are there now, they just put them in. You know what I mean? Science.
Yeah. More snow.
Yeah. Well, once the snow melts, then you start thinking, oh, maybe we got to do something about this crazy shit. I'm going to end on this question, Terje. What's it like? Because obviously you got into snowboarding because it's fun as fuck, right? Like, and you love it. Did you fall in love with it as a kid, and that's why you got so involved in it?
Yeah, I do a lot of different sports, and that was one that was really fun.
Yeah.
And now I do a lot of different sports still. All the ones I think that are fun.
Perfect.
And that's how you live.
Okay, so my question was, how fucking fun is it when you can just do anything that you fucking want? Like when you can go to a park and go, I'd like to try a thing, and then you land it, and then everybody's like, holy shit, that was perfect.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think any sports, like I look at a skateboarder and I go like, fuck, I wish I could do that, and like that looks really fun. But the level that I'm too, I have fun at that level too. So
yeah,
it's just a sensation for yourself, and then.
You've been such an inspiration to so many fucking people in snowboarding. You're the fucking undeniable best snowboarder that's ever lived. And I thank you for being on our podcast, man. Terje,
thank you for having me.
All right, thanks for that, everybody. See you on the hill. Mount Baker Bank Slalom is the best full-sail brewery makes the best beer, so you should get that. They make Sessions beer, and they're out of Hood River, Oregon, and they're my favorite. And if anybody wants some full-sale swag, just come up to the table, and we'll give you some full-sale cool shit.
We've got FNRad shoutouts to so many people this week who helped on this episode. First and foremost, thank you, Terje Hakonsen. It would not have been possible without Evan Camm, our temporary audio engineer, and Mike from Drag the River, who let us use all of his equipment. Thanks to Jake Blovelt and Trude Lurfable for getting Terje to the recording. Thanks to Casey at Full Sail for the beer and the prizes, and extra special thanks to all of the Chair 9 staff and the owner of Chair 9 Pub, Peter Cup. Thank you, Pickle, Leroy, James, Kyle, Doya, General Brad, Alex, Jeffrey Fulton, who's the true soul of snowboarding, and everyone else who showed up to show their support at Chair 9 Pub. Sincerely, thank you. Come back next week for another episode of the FNRad Snowboarding Podcast, brought to you by BR Productions.